Welcome to Storytime with Stephanie, a platform for independent authors to share their stories of transformation, self-help, education, and sometimes pure entertainment. Want to grow with us on this journey and support these up and coming authors? Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. I'm your host, Stephanie Outten, the literary doula. Are you ready for the show? Let's do this. Hello, everyone. Greetings and welcome to Storytime with Stephanie. I'm your host, Stephanie Outten, and I'm so excited to be back with you all for season 8 of the show. And so you all know, at least every season, I love to have at least one children's book author to come and share about why they chose to write their children's book. But today we have two beautiful children's book authors. They just happen to have written the same book. And so let me introduce them to you. Sarah Saeed is a passionate educator teaching second grade in Brooklyn, New York. With a background in special and early childhood education, she's dedicated to nurturing young minds. Raised with a blend of Emirati and Filipino heritage in Dubai, Sarah draws inspiration from her rich cultural background to bring her children's book to life, weaving storytelling and diversity to inspire young readers. She's currently working on opening a children's store and dreams of creating a play space for kids with disabilities. When not working, Sarah enjoys hiking with her fur baby, exploring new cuisines, traveling, and spending time with her family. And we have Richelle Villar, is a Dubai-based creative with a passion for storytelling, culture, and community. Having grown up in Dubai and with roots in the Philippines, Richelle draws inspiration from her vibrant heritage and her love for creating memorable experiences. When she's not planning meaningful events or working on her passion projects, she's at home with her 3 cats and 1 dog, dreaming up magical tales for children and adults alike. Her stories reflect her commitment to culture, inclusivity, and celebrating diversity, making them as meaningful as they are fun. And these beautiful ladies are the author of what is one of my favorite children's books, A to Z in the UAE, which I'm going to share with you all. A to Z in the UAE is a beautifully illustrated children's book that takes young readers on a vivid journey through the vibrant culture, stunning landscapes, and rich traditions of the United Arab Emirates. Each letter of the alphabet is paired with a word that reflects the author's personal experiences and memories of growing up in this unique country. Each page of A to Z in the UAE is a window into the everyday wonders and cherished moments that define life in the Emirates, making it an engaging and educational read for children everywhere. Sarah and Richelle, are you with me?
Hi.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Richelle.
Hi.
Hi, ladies. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Look, you all are 2 of my favorites. So I was so glad to get you all, and actually at, the same time, because Richelle is in Dubai, Sarah's in Brooklyn, I'm in Florida. And so, trying to make it work to get everyone on the same time is sometimes challenging, but you ladies made it so easy, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about A to Z in the UAE and what brought you to say, you know what, let's do this together. Let's write this children's book.
Richelle and I have always wanted to write children's books. We've always had fun ideas. From the time we were teenagers, it started off from wanting to do stuff with a food truck. And we call it the Chai Lady. And then eventually over time, sometime last year or the year before, we started just talking about different alphabets. We wanted to do something that represented our home and also something for children. And so we just started something as simple as going on a Google Doc, just jotting down ideas, and we just got excited, started getting creative. And yeah, it just went from there.
I love it. I love it. And how long have y'all been friends?
Oh, man.
How long? More than a decade.
18? Yeah.
Wow. And you met in Dubai?
Yes. actually, we were both doing a foundational course at Middlesex University,
Okay.
and she was just in the hallway, and I bumped into her looking for her like an orientation. Kind of bullied her to sit with me. So, and then
And then you just became best friends from there.
we actually lived super close too. We were like 5 minutes away from where we both lived at the time. Yeah, so we would pick each other up from go to university, get our our coffees, go to class. Yeah, and then we've just been close ever since.
Very good. I love it. And so, Richelle, when you think about your experiences in Dubai and growing up there and spending even now in your adulthood still living there, what are some of the things that really inspired you and made you say, this would be so awesome to put into a book for kids to learn about what it's like to live here in the UAE?
I think it's more of the vibrant culture here. And then the different people that live here and the different kind of experiences. I think the UAE in general has a lot to offer in terms of experiences for all kinds of people, and I think that's the inspiration, like the way how each of the letter, where we're like, H for Hatta, which is like a kayaking spot that used to be like a mountainous area. Um, and even like the Burj Khalifa. So you get from like the tallest buildings in the world, and then you get from like natural or outdoor experiences. So those are like, I think, the main experiences that inspired us.
Okay. And what would you say was the hardest part of writing this children's book? I know you said you opened up a Google Doc and you just kind of thought about the alphabet. And Sarah, because you are a teacher, I'm sure that thinking about this neat way of using the alphabet probably came easily to you. But what would you say was the hardest part of writing this book?
I think I can answer this. I think well, I would say for us is like agreeing on like what we were like, oh, X would be good for this. It's like, no, like I think that was, I mean, it's so easy for us to work together already, but even just those little things, I don't know if Sarah
No,
thinks something else.
yeah, because there, we wanted it to, because sometimes like the adult mind, it's like, oh, this makes sense.
Yes.
But then we're like thinking about the age group, and so it's like we want to be mindful where it works for the age group we're presenting it to, but also fun for the adults to also relate to,
Yes.
And so, and then just like Richelle said, there's so many things in the UAE. We were trying to find this balance where we wanted to show that UAE is more than just like this big tourism spot.
Yeah.
I think when people think of the UAE, they just go straight to like tall buildings, flashy cars, and with all the shows happening, we wanted them to see like the real UAE, where there's real everyday people, living there.
Yes.
And so we were just trying to find that balance where we're like, okay, we want to show what the UAE represents as a whole, where it gives people a bit of both, so they are excited when they do come down.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting. I love that you said that about really making sure that you were tailoring the story to the age range. And so what age range were you targeting with A to Z in the UAE?
I would say like zero, like 0 months, but like really, sorry. I meant from like infant to, I would say like 6,
Okay.
And then, but it's interesting because I read it to my second graders because they've never seen the UAE. So even though it was an A to Z book, it was still cool to show them what the UAE was like.
Yeah.
But the reason why we wanted to start with smaller kids is just because I think, one, it is a fun way of teaching the alphabet. It's also just a fun way. I think it it would appeal more to the younger group than an older group. Eventually, I feel like eventually, as we make a different series, we can target different ranges where there's more of a storyline.
Yeah. And what I love about this book, so I'm a full-on adult, but I love this book. I tell so many people, I'm like, this was one of my favorite picture books because it is so simplistic, one, but I mean, the illustrations are amazing, and we'll talk about that. Hopefully one of you have a copy of the book in front of you. I have it, but
I have one too. Yeah.
But the illustrations help to bring it to life, but the story in itself, the use of the alphabet to bring each of these landmark places to life was just so easy to read. And as an adult, if you have children and you want to be able to make reading time fun, this is a great way to do that, because you have these simple letters that build out this landmark in the UAE, but then you have these awesome illustrations to help bring it to life. So I think, Sarah, you said you have the book. Kind of show us a little bit, maybe show us one of the letters and then the associated illustration. And then Richelle, because you're still there in Dubai, kind of tell us what you see, right? When you experience the, so D is the alphabet. And what does D represent?
D is for dunes on a
Dunes.
desert safari.
Dunes on a desert safari. So I'm going to imagine, Richelle,
Yeah.
have you gone on this desert safari in the dunes?
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's honestly so much fun. It's like riding a roller coaster because you're riding the dunes. You go up, you go sideways.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's actually
Yeah, it's wild.
it's
You're
wild.
screaming.
You're screaming. The driver is like just like speeding up, goes up, and like goes down.
Oh, wow.
Personally, I've also driven on the dunes. I was also screaming as I was driving. Because you're like it's just like you're falling in your car. You just have to let go as well.
Oh,
So
no.
Yes. They do have a calm version though, where they just take you to like the site where you have to be at for the evening. For those who don't
Yeah.
want that, but
Oh,
yeah,
my
but
God.
it's really fun. It's
Yeah.
really fun. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's yeah. And
Wait,
then
what kind of truck is it? What kind of
it's a
is it like an
4x4.
open Jeep?
No,
No,
it's close.
it's a 4x4.
It's
Oh,
So
close,
you're all wearing seatbelts.
yeah. Everyone's in
oh,
seat-
okay.
yeah. It's covered because you're in sand, so you don't want to. Yeah, you can get stuck sometimes because they'll like go up a steep hill intentionally, so you're
Wait.
almost like vertical. You could fall.
You are not making this sound fun.
It's
It
really
is,
fun.
it is, 'cause
Honestly.
it's going so fast. You're just it's like a roller coaster, but in the desert.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It sounds fun. It sounds scary. But when kids see that, of course, kids love wonder and kids love excitement. And so when kids listen to this, and I want parents to be able to have their kids listen to this as well, they'll be like, "Oh, mommy, I need to go because that sounds like so much fun." Right? Now, is this something that you all did as kids, or is this something more? Okay, so kids can actually go.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a whole experience.
Yeah, my dad used to do it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Richelle.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's a whole experience when you go out there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so you all talked about how maybe the most challenging part was coming together to really decide which landmark or which activity or event did you want to focus on. And so what did that process look like? Did you say, okay, now we're looking at the letter D, and let's think about, the top 4 things related to D that, we could share in the book. And then kind of you tell us the process. I'm walking the process through, but I don't know if that was your process. So you tell us what the process looked like.
Richelle, you can chime in if you want.
Okay. So
something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just say, we it's something similar to what you said. We would sometimes like just send each other voice notes because we are in different countries.
Yes.
It was funny because there's so many fun things we want to talk about. So it just came down to like, okay, we'll do this in the next book. We'll add this in the next book. So there'll be a fun series because or what we would try is like if we did D, we're like, what else could we add around in certain pictures that we would like to add, like, as part of D, okay, So we were trying to find different ways to, like, you'll see in some pictures there's subtle hints of certain things we wanted to represent of like our culture back home.
Yeah.
That only like if you are from the UAE, you would know. But that's basically where we're at. Richelle, I don't know if you want to chime in.
It's really that. It's also a lot of like brainstorming where like what kind of like, okay, so we set up on D, desert, and then like as Sarah said, okay, it's like desert, okay, also dunes start with D. So we kind of like wanted to like kind of add a lot of those words together that starts with D that sounds good, but also adds that cultural references
Mm-hmm.
that tells that story.
That's really good. So when let me see how to ask this. Okay. So as an author, or each of you being an author, but also coming together collectively to write this book, I find that sometimes it can be just challenging just to write one book for yourself, right? Um, but in the process, sometimes when friends come together to write, there can be, disagreements, frustrations. What advice or what kind of support would you offer to friends who want to come together and collectively write a book, so that it's successful, but you still maintain, the integrity of your relationship, which you all did in such a great way. But that doesn't always happen, because I've seen it where people try to come together to write and there's disagreements, and then they just decide, hey, we're not going to do this. So, what would be some of the guidance that you would give to individuals who want to come together and write so that they can do it successfully and still maintain their friendship?
I would say communication, like any relationship.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Communication is key.
because like no, there are times where you know life happens, as you know, and
Yeah.
sometimes like the workload or personal things that are going on. I think is giving grace because sometimes I think Rochelle and I are both also just hard on ourselves in general, like on our personal level.
Yeah.
So then we feel like we're not doing enough, and if we're, I think it's really important to be supportive of your like the person you're working with and to your. So it's just like if as you're going through this process, it's more like, okay, what do you think is realistic
Mhm.
when we do X, Y, Z? Like if we are doing this, when do you actually have time? Because you
Mhm.
also want to be mindful that if they're going through something or if they're not having time for themselves, like you want to be able, like I think to even be creative, you need to be able to take care of yourself too. And that because that sometimes like life happens and you realize there are certain priorities that come first,
Yeah.
so that, and not that the book wasn't important, it's super valuable, but it's like
Yeah.
because it's so valuable, we want to make sure that we are taking the time that we need to
Mhm.
communicate, like how much time do we need to do the
Mhm.
illustration, when we reach out to Bridget, which shout out to Bridget for that,
Yes.
um, or how much time do you think we'll need to do certain things even after the book. And I think it just came down to like us really sitting down communicating like where we're at and like
Mhm.
what is realistic for us in this time frame,
Mhm.
and then like okay, like what's baby steps to go forward. So I feel like when you're constantly communicating, I feel like
Mhm.
that helps a lot because I feel like when you don't communicate, I mean in just any relationship,
Yeah.
it just
It'll
goes
fall
down.
apart.
Yeah. so I mean, Rachel, I mean, if you want to hop in, I mean, I feel like that's where I was at. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. I think for me was like putting. I mean, in general, Sarah and I don't really have big egos to deal with, but
Yeah.
it's really putting your egos aside, especially if you're working with someone,
Mhm.
and like it's your friend, so you obviously someone that you respect. So
Yeah.
it's really here, like Sarah said, communicating and actually hearing each other, and
Mhm.
then putting both inputs together to create something beautiful that both you
Yes.
and them make. So.
Absolutely. And I think too, because you all are on, in two different countries, totally different time zones, sometimes one person may have to take the lead, right? And so it may be that because I'm on Eastern and Sarah's on Eastern, she was able to, kind of take the lead when it came to communicating things quickly to me. And there were times when it came to, things related to marketing where Rochelle took the lead because that's like kind of her creative space where she, thrives. And so being able to understand each other's strengths is also key when you're working together with someone else to write a book. You want to really focus on who's strong in this area and that person take the lead, and who's strong in this area, that person take the lead. And I think that along with the communication is what made it so easy for you all to work together and for this project to be such a success. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you have done with the book. And I want you to show the cover again because I just,
so
yeah,
here's the cover. So what we really wanted is, and shout out to Bridget for really executing it.
yes.
we wanted to have a traditional door of how the old doors in the UAE look. And this was so important because it is just wood. It's like a beautifully simple wood, but it has like designs on the top. This
Mm,
is my daughter Nuri,
yes.
and this is the dog. Rochelle helped me adopt Kyrie, which is
Oh,
Dubai. She's the biggest princess. And then we have the bougainvillea flowers because that's all over the UAE.
okay.
We just want it was simple, but then we wanted it to be like a sneak peek of what you'll see as you go on the adventure, like in our.
Yes. I love that. And yeah, shout out to Bridget. Bridget Morrissey is one of the illustrators with Cocoon to Wings Publishing. And she brought this project over to us and we were like, yep, definitely want to do this. Because it has such a beautiful meaning, and to be able to see your daughter Nuri there in the front too, it also gives kids an opportunity to say, hey, I can see myself doing that. I can see myself traveling and being able to explore new things, and parents to be able to see, that there's more outside of where you currently are. And you want to give your children an opportunity to see that where you can, right?
Mhm.
And if you can't, maybe financially, or you don't have, you don't have the means to be able to do it, look, this book can take you on an exploration that you may not get to experience in real life. And so, how important do you feel it is for children? Both of you can respond, but for children to really learn about and understand different cultures from what they're accustomed to.
Um, Rochelle, do you want me to go first, or you
No,
want
go first. Yeah, yeah, go.
I
Sorry.
love how they always do that. It's like, who wants to go first?
I think, like, I mean, I'm a mix, of two different cultures. Rochelle grew up in the Philippines and came to the UAE, so that's also a blend of culture. So I think it's interesting because growing up in the UAE, you are around a huge diversity of different people,
Mhm.
and that's the beautiful part of the UAE. Like, all our friends are either a mix or they're from somewhere else, and we've really learned to respect each other's culture, especially through food. So, through food, and and also the art. So, there's a lot of appreciation where we get to celebrate those, and I wanted to take that with me wherever I go. And
Mhm.
so, especially being an educator and also just teaching kids, I wanted to show them, like, we would have cultural days just so that we could do little potlucks, because I
Nice.
want to show them that, hey, let's learn about, Haiti, let's
Yeah.
learn about the UAE, and
Mhm.
let's see what differences we have and what similarities we might have, you
Mhm.
know. And so, like, even with making this book, it was so intentional to show that, hey, um, you may have never heard of the UAE before, but here are some things that you might relate to as you read this book, or things you may have never seen that you might want to try,
Mhm. Yeah.
or see. And I think it's so important, like, even though it's just one line, like,
Mhm.
I feel Bridget brought the illustration to kind of educate in a way of like what's around, and that's why we even made a glossary to just
Yes.
talk about the different things. I just want to show this illustration as an example. So it says
Absolutely.
K is for
Pull it back a little bit.
sorry, I'll pull it back.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
Yeah.
better. Yeah, K is for
Yes.
Karak Chai at Kite Beach. Kite Beach is a
Mm.
very popular place. We all been there as kids. Now it's a little bit more touristy, but we've all been there as children. I would go all the time, but the part that I really wanted to highlight was the karak. This is a like a staple in the UAE. Everyone is getting karak chai, and it's like less than $1. Um, it's delicious, and it's just that everyone. That's how everyone just connects is through tea, and
Oh.
so, and this illustration of Rochelle and I, we
Mhm.
would do that a lot by the beach,
Oh.
specifically this beach. So at Kite Beach. So this was also a fun memory, but also it's like,
Mhm.
you can see that in this illustration, there's
Mhm.
just two, like, again, this is another cultural reference for children to see that, there's two girls having
Mhm.
tea at the beach, and then in the
Mhm.
background there's some people still like doing some sport activities. So I thought that
Yeah.
was just cool to, again, it's just two people enjoying time, but you also see
Mhm.
that they're drinking. And then, Rochelle, if you want to chime in about the magazine, obviously, we wanted to. It was like the Times magazine, right, Rochelle?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Times Magazine is like one of the the magazine we all grew up with. So it's like another cultural thing. So it's like we dropped all that little tidbits all across,
Yeah.
um, to getting to know about what the culture is, and I think that's really important. For kids to learn about other culture, because they're I feel like growing up they'll be more accepting of
Yeah.
like cultural differences from across the world.
Yes.
There's less of a culture shock. So if they're traveling or if they meet someone who's, who looks completely different from them, they're less likely to be like, be confused, or they're just going to be like, oh, it's just a human being. And I feel
Right.
like a lot of the kids who grew up in the UAE, like us, is because we've been so accustomed to everybody from all over the world.
Mhm.
It personally, if I go to a country and they do certain things, or if it's a new country for me and it's completely different, I'm not really shocked at all, because at some point growing up, I've met someone from that country and they've
Yeah.
already told me about them, like what they
Mhm.
do, how their culture's like, what their food's like. So if I go there, I'm not really shocked. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's important.
I love that. And what you all did also with this book is you made it like Sarah said, it's like it keeps your memories too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You get to see yourselves, the two of you, in the book, and the things that you used to do together growing up, the things that you do when Sarah may come to visit, right? The things that you still do. And I love that because it's a keepsake for you all. It's something that you'll always be able to go back and say, oh, remember when we used to sip chai at Kite Beach, right? And I love that. So being able to, go back and relive certain memories from your childhood is so important. And even gives kids an idea of, oh, wow, you know what? When I go to visit these places, taking pictures is important, documenting the things that I see is important because maybe one day I'll be able to go back and write my own book about my experiences, right? And I really believe that that's what you all did with A to Z in the UAE is give people an experience, right? So now, Rochelle, I know that you do a lot from the creative space as far as like marketing and events and things of that nature. So, and both of you can chime in on this, but tell us a little bit about some of the things maybe that you all have done with the book as far as kind of promoting it and getting it out there. And then what would be some things that you would share with children's book authors as far as things that they could do to make sure that they're keeping their book relevant, that they're getting their book out into the right places, so that they know how to create a plan for getting their book out there.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the most important thing is kind of utilizing your community, like reaching out to your community.
Yes.
They will be your biggest supporters, and they will be the ones that will give you that space and that platform to promote your book, to give you that space to maybe read out your book, to connect with the readers, and your target audience. Um, and reaching out to, like, we've spoken to bookstores
Mhm.
that support the communities. We've reached out to a couple of people that we know that can talk about the book as well. So it's really just all reaching out to our communities. And I think that's the most important thing, because yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to tap into your community, but then your community may also be able to help you think of some out of the box ways, right? To be able to get your book out there, no matter what type of book it is. And so being able to, I call it a street team, right? Getting your street team of people together that have different experiences, have different connections, because utilizing them is also going to be helpful to you in finding ways to get your book out into different marketplaces, into different spaces. And so, Sarah, any thoughts from you in regards to things that authors can do to get their books out there and be, relevant?
Sure. I mean, I would say reach out to, like for me at least, it was reaching out to certain play spaces that my daughter was going to,
Yes.
and just connecting with them, but also just learning about, if anything, it's like researching, like public libraries, or even just, small bookstores that you can connect with and see if it aligns with them, and something, or even just going to the park and
Yes.
doing like a little event, which is
Yeah.
something I plan to do soon, actually.
Mhm.
Like just like Rochelle said, obviously it's a little different here because the community here is Brooklyn,
Right.
you know, but like you can still be smart about it in terms of like finding a way to take them on an adventure to the UAE in Brooklyn. And
Yes.
so, a while back I did a little read aloud with a few kids,
Mhm.
and we had like sand for them to, again, it was for
Mhm.
toddlers, so they
Mhm.
got to play in the sand, like, so I had the Connecticut sand with them, with camels and the trees so they could play with, and then we also had a little painting area for
Mhm.
them to, Bridget gave me some pictures, and then that she
Yeah.
illustrated, sorry.
Mhm.
They got to paint on it. So eventually, like, some of the things we want to do is try to bring what we have to life. Like,
Mhm.
one of it is, M is for making manish. I think when wait, sorry, let me get it right before I mess it up. It was M is for Mama making manish, and basically
Okay.
we thought it would be so cool that, maybe Rochelle loves to cook. We could
Mhm.
always do an event where, aunties or moms or guardians can come with their kid and just make, a little dish where the dough is already ready.
Yeah.
Bridget gave that wonderful idea. And then, even so, it's just like finding small things. Like, we don't have to do
Mhm.
everything, but
Yeah.
just like, I just feel like play is one great way of bringing the community together too, especially with little children. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, even just going to the park and doing a read aloud for kids, for
Mhm.
free. And then,
Yeah.
especially during summertime, people want that, with their kids. So, I think, and that's just a great way to network with other parents too, and then just promote your book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what are some of the well, we're running your website across the screen as well. So individuals can go to desertbaby.shop in order to learn more about you all, what you all have upcoming. It's going to be more than just a space for you to sell the book. It really, I'll let you all tell everyone what Desert Baby is
Michelle,
about.
you want to go for it?
No, Sarah.
Okay, so um, one of our end goals with Desert Baby is that we wanted to be an outlet, where we just sell like clothing, toys, but they're like essentials too. Like, we want to sell essential stuff that's seasonal. Um, I've always loved that name,
Mhm.
Desert Baby. I think it like really ties in with like our book.
Yes.
So, like, some of our end goals is just making cultural toys that represent our culture, but also just making certain clothing that's like, that kids need every day, and that's really it. You just want to keep it start off simple,
Mhm.
but it'll be an area too where people can come connect. Where if we're doing events,
Mhm.
they can see what's going on. So that's
Okay.
basically, yeah. So right now we're trying to keep it as an online store, and eventually we're hoping to have like a couple pop-ups in the UAE,
Yeah, very
with
good.
like our stuff. Yeah.
Very good. I love that. So, see, I love when I hear authors doing things that go beyond the book, right? It still incorporates the book, but being able to have other products, other services that you can sell along with the book is so ideal. So, tell us, and this would be a question for each of you.
Mhm.
Outside of being an author, what are some of the other ways that you either are currently or you choose to do in the future, use your voice to be able to help impact other people?
Michelle, you want to
Do
go?
um,
Michelle's
I
like,
think
give me a minute.
What is though? But Rochelle does a lot, by the way. I'm gonna.
She does.
She does a lot for the community. She does a lot of
Yeah.
stuff for nonprofits all the time as
Love it.
well. So, and she plays it, so she acts like, no, no, I don't. And I'm like, no, you do.
actually, I don't know if I do. I think with helping our community is really just like, I don't know, for me as somebody who likes to create experiences, it's
Mhm.
really just kind of like my next thing is like I want to host supper clubs, that kind of thing,
Oh,
just so people get to be introduced to Filipino food, for example.
nice.
So that's something like I feel like bringing experiences forward that your community can enjoy and also get to know about. I think that's
Hmm.
the next one. Yeah.
I love that. Look, Rochelle has already told me when I come to Dubai, she's going to be my host. She's going to like take me all around, and I follow her on social media, so I get to see all these amazing dishes that she makes, and I'm like, oh, I need to get there. I want to taste that. But I love that you're doing things in your community, and that is a way that you use your voice, and it might be through your physical labor of helping with something, or it might be using your creative skills to be able to help put something together for a community organization. And I love that because it keeps you tied into your community, what your community needs, and how you're able to support their needs. So I love that. What about you, Sarah?
Um, I mean, outside, I am a public school teacher,
Mhm.
and
That in and of itself
yeah,
is
but
that's
also
community work.
like I do teach at a Title I school.
Okay.
A lot of these students are like come from shelters,
Mhm.
and something I've always done prior to that was I used to love making care packages for the community. I mean, just essentials, and sometimes, and it's not like plastering it all over. It's just like leaving it there for
Yeah.
them, and if they want it, they can take it.
Mhm.
Um, and also one of the things I want to eventually do is Avery is opening up a studio, so I wanted to be able to start doing my own storybooks and like audiobooks just for
Yes.
fun. Like that's one of my goals, and just also doing little read alouds, and just putting it out there. So
Oh.
just reaching out to the kids and community. I've been wanting to do read alouds for a while too, for
Mhm.
kids. So that's something like once I'm like settled in the new space, I want to like invite kids over
Oh,
or go
nice.
to the park and just do like read alouds for the children,
Yeah.
and then just do care packages. Like that's where I'm at,
I love that. I love that. And doing read alouds, I think, is very important because, kids get to hear and experience the book, but I want people to buy the book. I want people to buy this book, just because it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture book. And it really invites you into the world of the United Arab Emirates. It is so beautifully crafted. And, Bridget Morrissey, like we said before, who's the illustrator, she did a lot of research and spent a lot of time with the ladies to make sure that as she was illustrating, these things really looked, like the real things, and really represented the real things. And so I love this book so much, and I want people to buy this book and share with your friends and family members who have kids. And whether you've been to the United Arab Emirates or not, like, this is a great book to have in your household. It's a great book. It is one of those books that you could put on your coffee table, and people will sit and want to go through it and explore. And so, while I've never been to Dubai, I've never been to the UAE, I felt like I was able to travel there because of this book. And that's just a testament to what you all, along with Bridget, did to be able to bring A to Z in the UAE to life. So I'm going to ask each of you this final question. It's a new question I've been asking this season. Um, if your book was a soundtrack, what would the title of the theme song be, and why?
Oh my God, that's a hard one.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if I'll have that right away. Trying to think
Think
now.
about it.
For me, the soundtrack of Dune came on
Oh,
immediately because we were talking about the dunes.
yes. See,
I'm
that's
like,
And
good.
it's how I feel like every time on the dunes, like that soundtrack just plays in my mind. I was recently like surrounded by crazy dunes this winter, and that was just like I felt like I was in the Dune movie.
oh, man, like I'm gonna sound so stereotypical, but like literally the last 3 days, Nuri has just been making me watch Aladdin. So like a whole new world is just all
Oh,
that's playing.
yeah. Wait, I right. I love it. And I love because I saw that movie Rochelle Dune. So I know exactly what you're talking about. When you say the soundtrack, I'm like, yep, I hear it in
I
my
can
head
hear
now.
it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then, this is true. This book really introduces you to a whole new world, right? And the interesting thing is for people who may have traveled there, but they didn't get the full experience, right? Because sometimes you can go somewhere, you can just travel and you don't get the full experience, especially if you are not with someone who is native to the place where you are. And so you may go as a tourist and you just kind of see things. And you're like, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's nice. But you don't get the real meaning behind it. And so this is really a whole new world that you get to introduce them to through A to Z in the UAE because they're getting to understand the meaning behind these things. And so now, if they visit again, they can say, oh, okay, now I see this is what they were referring to in the book. And I say, take the book with you as a guide because it's like really a great guide. And so I just really value and appreciate what you all did to teach young people and adults like myself who've never been to the UAE what it's about, what the experience is, and just doing it in such a simplistic way to make it easy for people to understand. So I thank you ladies for being here. You all
Thank
are
you.
wonderful.
thank you. It was
I'll be following everything that you all do. I heard you say, "Oh, we could put this in book 2." So now I'm like, "Oh, is there going to be a book 2?"
definitely. We've been talking about it. Like, and Rochelle just recently. I mean, it's funny because I mean, like we had to put everything on hold just for a little bit because
Yeah.
there's been a lot of moving parts.
Mhm.
But just the other day, she was at this cafe which had all these little children's books. She just stumbled upon it, and I was like, Rochelle, we gotta reach out to them, and
Yeah.
see what we could do with them. So it's always fun when something like that happens because you just get ideas. Or sometimes I'm just like the other day I was walking at a park and I was like, oh, this area would be perfect
Mhm.
to do a read aloud or a little event where I
Yeah.
can get people to come, and
Yeah.
so
Because you can definitely do pop-ups, and Brooklyn is good for that. You can do
yes,
pop-ups all over the place,
oh
and
yes,
yeah, that's pop-up central over there.
yeah, especially during summer, So
Yes.
definitely. But no,
Oh.
we just want to say thank you. This is the last one. I just want to do a quick shout out for Rochelle allowing me to use this. One of the special books for pages for me was the last part, which was Z is for zip lining and Jebel Jais. And it's actually my grandpa zip lining. He passed away a year ago. But what was cool, and one of the reasons why I also wanted to put him there, was he was one of the first of 11 Filipinos to come to the UAE.
Oh,
So, I
wow.
mean, no one would know that, but like, I just want
Well, now they know.
but I just thought that I just had to do a shout out for him, and I just thought that was really cool that being one of the first Filipinos to come to the UAE, first of 11, is pretty historical. So,
I love that.
you know,
Oh, see, this book is about experiences. It's about travel. It's historical. It's a keepsake. It has memories. I mean, this book is just jam packed with so much beauty and reflection, and to be able to have that memory of your grandfather too. Now with him passing, for him to be right there in the book, and you all in the book, and Zuri in the book. There's so many Nuri in the book. There's so many different things that are so meaningful to you all, but now they become meaningful to those who have the book. So I appreciate you all for doing that, and for allowing people into your lives, because this was a glimpse into your life growing up. And again, like with Rochelle still living there, a glimpse into her day to day and what she gets to experience and see living in Dubai. And so I thank you ladies for doing that. I can't wait for book 2, whatever it's going to be about, because I just know it's going to be beautiful. And I just wish nothing but the best for each of you individually and collectively. And I look forward to seeing Desert Baby like blow up and become something even greater than you've ever imagined. And so I just thank you both. And I look forward to talking with you all again, maybe in a future story time with Stephanie when you have your next book.
thank you. No,
Thank
we just
you.
want to
Thank
say
you.
thank you for just giving the opportunity to work with us. We're very grateful. So thank you so much. Want to give your flowers too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate. Look, you all make it easy to work with, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being a part of Storytime with Stephanie. And I will definitely look forward to talking with you all soon. And thank you for, just blessing us with your presence on season 8. And I look forward to people learning more about, you all individually as well as collectively. And then, I wanted you to share really quick too. You have an Instagram page as well. What's your Instagram handle so people can follow you there?
It's desertbaby.shop.
Desertbaby.shop on Instagram. So make sure that you follow these ladies. That's their, yes, desertbaby.shop. That's their collective Instagram so that you can go there, follow them, and see what things that they have up and coming. All right. So thank you so much for being a part of Storytime with Stephanie. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
So thank you all. This was another amazing episode of Storytime with Stephanie with Sarah Saeed and Richelle Villar, the authors of A to Z in the UAE. And I just love those ladies. I love what they have done to really give children an opportunity to experience something new. And so if you are a parent of small children, I encourage you to get this book because this book truly does give you an opportunity to explore something new and experience a whole new world. So thank you for being here with us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storytime with Stephanie. If you're an independent author and you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at info@stephanieouten.com with your name, the name of your book, and why you believe you should be a part of our show. Also, if you'd like to support our show by sponsoring an ad, you too can email us at info@stephanieouten.com for more information. We'll see you next time.